welcome allies to the Visionary Activist Show, and I'm your weaver of context, Caroline Casey. So Syncretism is a sacrament. We're honoring the life of Priestess Miriam, who was born September 10th, 1943, same day as Marie Laveau, and died August 16th, 2026. I'm guessing her departure time at around 9:12 p.m., but we'll play. So Priestess Miriam Chamani, mambo and co-founder of the Voodoo Spiritual Temple on North Rampart Street, I know it well, died on Sunday, August 16th after a brief illness. This is from a Facebook post. We send our condolences to her husband, the environmentalist Allen Villeneuve, her priest and drummer Louis Martinié, Mishlen Linden, and all the members and devotees of the Voodoo Spiritual Temple. So today our guest is Louis. Is it Martinié? I didn't know about the accent at the end.
That sounds good. That's a good accent there.
Okay.
It was originally Italian. Yeah, then this family moved to Avignon.
That's great. So I'm going to read the whole bio that you just sent me because it's great. It's great. It's great. So Dr. Louis Martinié, or however, is celebrating being the content editor for Black Moon Publishing for 50 years. His writings include the text to the Orleans Voodoo Tarot book. I just ordered another copy. It's really a smoke in the deck. It's really smoking, and I'm dusting it off. I'm glad to be reacquainted with it. A Priest's Head, Drummer's Hand, Black Moon, and Dr. John Montanee, a grimoire, Black Moon. Louis has been in service to the Orleans Voodoo Spiritual Temple for 35 years. He's a drummer, elder, and spiritual doctor. His practice syncretizes Dzogchen Buddhism with New Orleans Voodoo. Yes, Middle Eastern, Southwestern, Sufi Voodoo. Blanc Dan-i is the master of his head. I don't know that person, but you'll introduce. The Marassa and the Buddhas sing within his heart. His devotions are to Dr. John Montanee, and Dr. John Mack, St. Roch, and Lama Lena. Drum recordings include ritual drumming, voodoo, drum tracks for the movie The Skeleton Key. His studio band work consists of over 30 albums. He's received 3 grants from Xavier University in New Orleans to use drum rhythms to teach communication skills to persons with severe, profound handicaps. Oh, we're going to honor that. Louis has spent a year on sabbatical with Tubten Norbu, an elder brother to the 14th Dalai Lama, studying how Tibetans teach kindness to their children. He is an honorary member of the Louisiana State Legislature and a Democratic Socialist in the tradition of New York City's Mayor Zohran Mamdani. Yes, all praise be upon him. Yes, he is bilocal due to climate change, right? Spending part of the year in New Orleans and a part of the year in Cincinnati, which is the largest city close to the Great Serpent Mound. Yes, I've been there too. Welcome, Louis.
Oh, very, very good to be here. This is Priestess Miriam, the New Orleans Voodoo Spiritual Temple. There is so much there now, and I want to see as much of it preserved and honored as possible. It'll change in the future. Everything changes, but let's get a starting point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know the old temple well before it burned down because it's opposite Congo Square and very close to Marie Laveau's grave. So, yeah, Jessica Radcliffe introduced me long ago. We both know her. All praise to her.
Yes.
Singer now in England. But it was poignant, too, because when I visited New Orleans for the second or third time, Jessica had an urgency about bringing me to meet Priestess Miriam, bringing me to Marie Laveau's grave, bringing me to all the places that were important to her. And then some years after, there was Katrina, and she goes, I didn't know why I felt so urgent. I just had to show you all these things before they went away. Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Actually, the temple was at 3 different locations, all on Rampart Street. There was one a little bit up from the one you're talking about. That was on the 2nd floor. And that was when we started out. We all started out together when I met Miriam at Ashwan. And that now is the Voodoo Bar.
Wow.
And they have, they're playing on that heritage. But I remember so many good times up there with Ashwan and with Miriam. Then we moved down the street, and it's called a Porto Matan, which is a center pole of a temple. When we moved down the street, the temple that you're talking about, we took the Porto Matan in a little red wagon. Ashwan was pulling I was pushing. That's one of my main memories of that. We got it down there.
So I got to give you one of my main memories too, which is after when I would go to visit the New Orleans Voodoo Spiritual Temple, and there she was, and there was the large yard in back. That's the temple that I
Yes,
knew then,
that's it.
and I can't remember how or why this happened, but she draped her giant snake. Was it an anaconda? Was it what was it? What was that snake? It
Let's
it it,
see. It
it
was
was
a. I
big.
should know that. Yeah, yeah.
It was big. It
Aida,
was Aida.
Miss
That's
Aida,
good.
Miss Aida. That's
It
its name.
it was a good 4 foot or more snake, and she put it around my shoulders and said, "Dance with it." I'm like, "Okay then,
Ah,
okay then." So that was a great moment in my life,
oh
right?
my God! A boa. It was. It is a boa. Yeah, and it is there at the temple, and people are talking about where it may go, where Aida may go, where she
Oh, so
may be the most favorite.
Aida's still
Oh
alive.
yeah, she's
Oh,
still there. Yeah,
oh, I'm available for
there
dancing.
was. Yeah, one of the interesting things about that is in Notre Dame. One of the entrances has a statue of a woman with a snake around her head,
Hmm.
wearing the snake very much exactly the same as New Orleans priestesses tend to wear the snake. Yeah.
Right. Well, we've got a lot of that because as I bring in just the planetary dance, which is supporting us, but Saturn, which is our authority and our necessity to in-source authority, and Saturn's on a vision quest so that we can find real leadership. And there are images for each degree of the zodiac. So Saturn's image for where it is stationing now is a woman weaving a magical basket out of serpents, right?
Oh, man, that catches it.
right,
Wow.
right,
Thank
right.
you.
It's an
Thank
assignment. It's
you.
an assignment, and Priestess Miriam would be that woman, and I do have I mean I know you told me approximate time of death, and so I made up one. It works pretty well, um, but it's August 16th. It's in New Orleans is where she died, right? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
The
and
hospital, yeah.
and what's rising in the east is Pluto, at at the degree three plus Aquarius, which is restoring a lost condition of spirituality to the world. It's in the 11th house of community. It's a handing of the baton to the community of those who worked with her and loved her like yourself, and then all of us listening. And it's right next to the little asteroid Juno, whose image is a gypsy reading tea leaves. So it's
Oh,
restoring a lost condition of spirituality to the world through the sacred arts of pragmatic mysticism and divination. And she's wafting that to us, right?
yes. Yes, she is. I love that word, pragmatic. She was very pragmatic. She welcomed all. It wasn't like she had this set belief system that everything had to adhere to. She's very open, very pragmatic, very inclusive. Inclusive.
Yes.
One
And and
one
I,
way
and
to
I, no, you
one
go.
way
Sorry.
to express that is she was in love with and, not or. In other words, oh, you are a other religion, a Buddhist, a Islamic, whatever, and you can practice New Orleans voodoo. Not you're
Right.
this or you're that. And that's a tremendous, oh, you're white, you're black, you're yellow, you're brown, whatever, pink. You can be part of the temple. And
Yeah.
inclusive. Yeah, so
And
inclusive. Yeah.
and let me just read a little more from what was posted on Facebook because it's so beautiful. She was born Mary Robin Adams in 1943 to sharecroppers in Pocahontas, Mississippi, and raised Baptist in a segregated state that expected her to work cotton. Her family recalled her talking to spirits as a child. She left first for New York in 1962, then Chicago, right? And she loved the Pope. She loved Pope Leo, right? Because he's a Chicago
Hmm.
guy, and also Pope Leo is part black with roots in New Orleans, right? And she thought that was
Yes.
fantastic. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so that's great. So and she was one of the few people in the American esoteric world who could speak about the body from inside a surgical theater and from inside an apothecary in the same breath, right? She was trained in medicine. So it goes on. The full thing will be in the show notes. But it says the hardest thing she did was to refuse the tourist frame. New Orleans sells voodoo the way it sells anything else, in shot glasses and shrunken heads. And Priestess
Yeah.
Miriam ran a healing house on the same street as the shops that traded on the cartoon. She gave bone readings. Yes, I had one. Officiated weddings
Yeah.
and funerals. Prepared gree oil. Yes, I have some High John the Conqueror oil from here.
Ah,
Yeah, because we want that for wise leadership, and sat with people after Katrina. Right, I was there before and after Katrina who had nothing left to consult. She talked to the BBC, National Geographic, the Times-Picayune, anyone else who came. And she used every one of those appearances to say the same unglamorous thing. Voodoo is a healing tradition. It's not what you were told. And then it speaks of you, Louis Martinié. Role in all this deserves plain statement and gratitude. He served the temple as drummer, bokor, and eventually priest across more than 2 decades. And he was the primary drummer for Priestess Miriam's rituals. Yes, we have some. That is the substance of it, the labor of showing up to hold the rhythm for other people's work. His public role compounded it. The Orleans Voodoo Tarot, that's really smoking, made made with Sallie Ann Glassman and published in 1992. I got it right then. Put a specifically New Orleans ritual vocabulary in front of a national readership at precisely the moment the temple was establishing itself, and Black Moon Publishing, which he's edited for decades, gave that current a press of its own. He also led the crew of Nutria, the temple's troupe of sacred drummers. It goes on with other fantastic, wonderful things. And then just, I was looking through, because I do not presume the intimacy that so many had, but it was memorable. A little of her went a long way. And so we messaged each other back and forth on Facebook, and she would respond, and I'd go, oh, the world needs New Orleans and so much of what you have to say. And then she would put this enigmatic thing. She goes, time speaks for all things seen and yet has not been seen, allowing awareness to come into the light. Love and blessings. And it's like, okay, whatever. That's
yeah.
great. And then another one, I again, thanked her for her work and how much we need her work in the world. And then she said, thanks very much. Time is always on our side, she said.
Yes. Yes. Going back to Pocahontas, her birth,
Mississippi. Yeah.
Mississippi, where she grew up, as far as I know, that's the first black community in the USA. And when she grew up, if the mule, if they were cotton and not working, if the mule was sick, the mother had to pull the plow with her help and others' help. The last time, oh, it wasn't the last time, but I remember being home with her, and Alan was sort of just said, you shouldn't use so much soap. And she whispered to me, oh, when I was growing up, we just had a little bit of soap's lard, you know? You could only use a little bit. I like to use a whole lot. She came from a reality that stands with us all. There's no privilege there. There is no privilege there. She's a base. That's the baseline. She stands with us all. And she pulled herself up and through spirit. So I remember her saying too that at one point, this is before she heard of Buddhism too, which was really interesting. She says, I just sat down under that damn tree and I wasn't going to move until some spirit talked to me what to do. And I thought, that's sort of familiar. Um,
Huh.
yeah, I think that's part of her bigness of heart because she has suffered. She has suffered under a racial and economic system very early and has transcended that suffering. And that to me is like a role model, someone that can point a way. Now, maybe my way is different than hers and other people's way are different. But it's a role model. Yeah.
Yeah. And just all that you say, and then just a festival of divination and metaphor. I'm looking at the
Oh,
chart of her death as well as the chart of her life, and Marie Laveau, right? They're born the same. Yeah, you said I'm the first person to point that out because I asked for
I
her
know.
birthday, and you said September 10th. I'm like, that's Marie Laveau's birthday. I know because she's like my auntie. She's always with me with her,
Oh my
the
God.
wonderful portrait that with her kind of stern gaze going, yeah, all right. Which and Priestess Miriam also was like no nonsense too, right? It's like
Yep.
do what you say, pull up your
Yeah.
socks and and with
Yeah.
Jessica, we went to see her, and Jessica was kind of discombobulating, and she's like, "You go pull yourself together in the garden. We're going to have a talk here. You go there, right?" And it's like, "Yes, well, of course, right." So it's also I'll say it and translate it, but we have this beautiful pattern in the sky that she's a part of in her sending. And I did wake up this morning with, I do not presume certainty about the mystery of death. Let's not impose constraining certainty on liberating mystery.
Mhm.
But I have definite preferences. But I woke up with this phrase that just said, cultivated consciousness continues. And I'm like,
Oh,
yeah,
oh,
I'm voting for that.
yes, yes. With that, well, the last ritual I did for her, which was like a day or two ago,
Oh,
a conjure. I use this mirror as a portal, and I saw my head become a flame, and I went, oh my God, okay, a flame, light, and then next to me there was a flash of light, like a candle flame. I thought, damn, okay, okay, that's going on, and then I heard from Allen that she was cremated. And I
oh,
thought, how beautiful to rise with the flame into the heavens. How beautiful, yeah. Yeah, and how
mm,
close she is. I think the thing there is really how close she is. So many people are writing and saying she's gone. Nope.
mm,
Michelin, my companion, brings up over and over again, she is not gone. She is with us. And primarily to speak to her where you are. Because me and so many people were like, oh, they want to go to New Orleans to do this, to do that. Yeah, that's cool. That's perfect. And you can just sit in a chair where you are and speak to her. She's close. And I think
yeah,
one way to do that, I did a conjure. I put a conjure up on Facebook, and it
mm,
really is centered on listening to her singing.
mm,
Listening to her singing. I was with her at one of the first rituals that she did without Ashwan. And one of the big, after Ashwan passed, one of the big things that she has developed was that joy in the song, music, the way music can move you and move you toward the loa, move you toward joy. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. And there is I it is good for our hearts to hear you say such things, Louis. Um, so when she goes out, and this is also the chart for all of us, really, it's her
Yeah.
departure point, but all the metaphors are in play. Weaving a magical basket out of serpents. We're supposed to
Oh,
do that, right? And she can teach us.
oh,
The sun on August 16th, its image was a large camel crossing the desert, sense of adventure, questing, phasing new phases of life, self-sufficiency, getting through difficult periods by being prepared. Yeah, she was always, just do your work,
yeah.
dashing mobility. So that's pretty upbeat. And it's next to Jupiter and Leo at one of my favorite degrees. The image is children swinging underneath the shade of a huge oak tree, the borrowed strength of all spiritual traditions based in nature mysticism. Isn't that great?
Beautiful. Just to add a little thing to the snake, weaving a basket with a snake.
Yeah.
Um, the snake, as I see it, and as I have talked about before, it's a great presence of the ancestors. The head does not move without all the vertebrae. And it's like all the vertebrae are the ancestors. And it
Mm.
goes up to the head. And yeah, Aida, the temple snake, um, doctor. I consider myself a snake doctor.
Oh.
Um, snake doctors are, I don't know. I mean, a lot of people might not know this if they're not connected to Southern culture. Snake doctors are dragonflies.
Oh,
And yeah, and the belief, it's my belief, and people call it a myth, but I'll believe anything. The dragonflies will come down if the snake is cut and sew it back up
oh, that's
with
great.
its tail. Snake, isn't that beautiful? And the
It is
snake
beautiful.
is the ancestors. And I've got this ancient necklace that I very seldom wear that's of snake vertebrae. And I really think that probably some of the first necklaces were of snake vertebrae. Very powerful, very powerful. And the way
Right.
a snake would sit, like in meditation. I had a very large boa constrictor that I remember going to the doctor with, and it's sitting with me, and I'm very tired. So I fall asleep. The nurse comes out actually, and I'm asleep, and it's got its head right next to me looking at people. Its head on my head looking at people.
Ah,
Uh, you can really get a connection. And the silence of a snake. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So
And I remember
beautiful, beautiful.
in in Egypt, one of our guides was saying, who would you want to guard your temple? And there were a number of images of jackals and whatnots and snakes. And I said, snakes. And he goes, that's the answer because snakes never close their eyes.
Yeah. Oh
Right.
my God.
It's the snake detective agency, and we we never sleep. We watch over you, and that's just again Pluto at 3 Aquarius to Mars now at 3 Cancer. It's an assigned conversation, that real power and and restoring lost condition of spirituality to the community through divination,
God,
involves Mars in Cancer, which is protection, and it's right next to Ceres,
beautiful.
Demeter, goddess of the earth, protecting the earth. And everything needs decolonizing, and I think Priestess Miriam really did, she there was nothing about her voodoo that was colonized, right? And in
Uh-huh.
astrology, there's still some work to do, because astrologers go, oh, Mars in Cancer, it's in its fall or its
Mm-hmm.
detriment, I can't remember. And it's like, that
Mm-hmm.
sounds colonial to me. Why should Mars
Uh-huh.
woofiness and heroism be dissed when it's in the sign of protecting life? And it's like, no, we want our
Yeah.
Mars dropping bombs. It's like, no, this is Mars, the
Oh my God.
protector
No.
of the earth. And that's very powerfully present, and in many, many expressions, in the chart of now for all of us. And one more thing I want to just sort of pitch to you, Louis, which is Saturn, whose image is weaving a magical basket out of serpents, has got a 72-degree angle, a division of the circle by 5, to Pluto, back to restoring lost condition of spirituality to the world. And and what it says is, and you can guide us out, the ancestors know how to get us through this now. Does that make
Yes.
sense to you?
Oh, that makes so much sense. Yeah, because again, maybe there's a false distinction there between who I am right now and the ancestors, as if they're two separate elements, like a
Mm-hmm.
self and an other. Every morning I do a ritual we call watering dry bones. Watering dry bones. The first is to ancestors whose names are remembered. Oh, I get a little description. You do a crossroads in the air
Mm-hmm.
with your coffee in the morning, and you
Yep.
lightly sort of throw your coffee cup through. Not a lot,
Yep.
just lightly. Then you pour out the first libation to those whose names are remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those whose names are remembered. Then those whose names are forgotten, woven like the basket. It's interesting because woven came up yesterday. Woven into the seas of time. And then
Mm.
just names come up, anything that comes up. And the third is those whose bones lie within a pond. And as, most importantly, as this land, organic,
Mm.
we're walking, we're supported by the ancestors. And the first time I did it for Miriam was just, I think, yesterday. that I
Ah,
included
that's
her
so
name.
great.
We
That's so
are
great.
to you from your children. Offer it to you from your children. That's a connection. It's not a them and me and da 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 da, self and other together. We're all together, yeah. Actually, no birth, no death. We're just in this together.
That's that's great. No, no,
Yeah.
I was taught that I've been doing that. The you take your morning coffee beverage and just as you say, make a crossroads in the air, and then lightly toss it. Whoop,
Oh my
and
God.
then
Okay.
for those and then it's for those beloved and it is noteworthy who shows up. I mean, and in what order? I go,
Yeah.
oh, Marcelino, you're always shoving to the front of the line. Here you go. But I did
Yeah.
for Miriam, and then for those in transition, one of my beloved allies is hovering on the edge there. Ooh.
Hmm.
And then for those whose names are forgotten, as you say, in the mists of time, and for all those whose bones. Well, you said it better. Lie beneath and upon this earth, and you said as this earth, and then you
As
hold
this
up your
earth, yeah.
cup and you go, "We, the living, salute you," and you take your first sip. So I've been doing that for a while.
Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, well, I was taught it by my friend Dale O'Brien years and years ago, an astrologer. He went a little QAnon, but still a good person in there. But he taught me that, and I do it a lot, and I did it. My sister, my two siblings died last year, and my sister just could not recover from the loss of her husband. And I said, well, and they were pretty straight, but I said, Janie, I do this coffee ritual in the morning,
Hmm.
and she said, does it work? I'm like, I'm
Yeah.
not sure that's the right verb. I mean, I think she was like, will he appear before me?
Yeah.
And then at her memorial service, I said, well, now I'm pouring coffee for you, Janie. So you tell us if it works. Right, here you go. Um, but but I love I
Perfect.
love that I love that ritual. No matter what, because remembering in the beautiful movie
Hmm.
Coco, remembering and and um, and I love asking Tears of Firestone, Rabbi Tears of Firestone, when we die, when humans die, do you think we just enter vastness, or is there unique specificity that continues? And she said, because everybody who knows, um, I think they enter vastness, but when we say their name, they come back into specific, coherent
Oh,
uniqueness.
beautiful.
I like that.
Beautiful.
And
Yeah.
it's like I don't know, but I choose for that. And I want to hand this back to you too. It's like I choose to see the dead rooting for us. I
Yes.
mean, I don't know, but
Yeah.
I like seeing it.
I love that image rooting for us. Yeah. My mother, my mother who married a drummer, as I'm a drummer, and he was a junkie, so they got divorced, and she would sit on the levee with her grandfather and watch I think it was the Island Queen, the showboat, and he was playing on it. Yeah, she was always right there for me. And my father, rooting for me. The first thing that he gave me
Hmm.
was a Civil War rifle. And that was like this beautiful trust from him to me. And he put up with so much. Put up with so he rooted not only rooted for me, he took me to all these events, and I thought, as a little kid, that that's just what parents do. That's in their genes or something. Yeah, that's who they are, rather than gratitude. And I have so much gratitude to my mother, my father, and now with one of her titles to Mother Miriam.
Mother
Yeah,
Miriam. So
yeah.
we're gonna play Dr. John at our break music, which is in a minute. But do you want to? We're going to play, "Walking on Gilded Needles," because it's so
Splinters. Yeah,
splinters. Thank you.
yeah. I
Walking,
apologize. I
and then
apologize.
just set us up for this because Dr. John attended the temple and was buddies. I have great pictures of Priestess Miriam and Dr. John, and apparently Priestess Miriam was being sewed into her dress. It was really something. and
Yes.
and Dr. John was being painted into his costume. It was still wet apparently when they were going to go preside.
Yes.
But just set us up for this song a little bit. Walking on Gilded Splinters. Yeah,
Yeah.
just bring him in.
Such a famous. Okay, bring him in. There's a lot of photos from the Crew de Vue when he
Mm-hmm.
was king and Miriam was queen.
Oh.
I had the privilege of being there as part of the temple when he got off the float. And one of the first things he said was, "This is the first time I've been able to hold the barons and the gaides in my head for the
Mm,
first time."
mm,
The other thing is just now that's more the spiritual, it's the personal level of sitting there during a ceremony with him next to me, this renowned musician. I'm drumming, and he's sitting there. He takes out his keys and starts playing his keys. And I thought that is just so beautiful. My God, I mean, I probably shouldn't even be in the same room with him. But then afterwards, someone said, one of the tourists said, "I thought Dr. John was supposed to be here." And I said, "He was sitting right there." Yeah, it was sort of like, do you think he'd have a halo over his head or something? He was dressed more like a biker than anything
right.
else.
No, well,
Yeah.
I did see him at at the Newport Music Festival right towards the end of
Oh,
his life, with a
yeah.
wonderful friend who's also now an ancestor. Again, I know so many great dead people, and it was very very hot, but he was dressed in full hot velvet
Oh, my.
regalia, and he was sweating like crazy. But he gave a full on show, as he's about
Oh,
to do
my
for us
God.
now. So we wave to
Yeah.
him, and we'll play this wonderful song, "Walking on Gilded Splinters." Right? It's got just the right spice. Okay, so here we go.
Yes. Yes.
People think of jabbing, know they must be crazy. Don't see them as fortune, yes, they just lazy. Sweet little grand zombie, yellow pepper shower zombie. Afraid I know John cat now, fill my brain with pause. Walk through the bayou, fly to the smoke. See my enemy, the end of their road. Walk on fence and lead up, see what they can do. Walk on gilded splendor, the king of the Zulu. Sing about con, and king the con. Walk on gilded splendor, con, and king the con. Walk on gilded splendor. Roll out my coffin, poison in my chalice. Pride big in the face, y'all gon' feel my malice. Greedy on your doorstep, see you be in the gutter. Melt your heart like butter, I could make you stutter. Which crumb, it gives it crumb, kill the splendor. Crumb, it gives it crumb, kill the splendor.
Whoa, that's what we need. That's encouraging us through now. That's our our news anthem. I feel so much better. That's
So
really
do
great.
I. So
Yeah.
do I. Yeah.
Right. So, this is the Visionary Activist Show. I'm your Weaver of Context, Caroline Casey. Our splendid guest is Louis Martinié. We are honoring Priestess Miriam, fantastic, huge soul person, being who just well, what do we say? Passed on, traveled, went backstage on Sunday. So we're honoring her and her friendship with Dr. John. And I used to always say that if the soul of this country had a physical address, it would be New Orleans. That was that was tough in Katrina when I had so many New Orleans guests on, and they were like, "Well, if that's true, then we're in terrible shape." And it's like, "Well, we are in terrible shape, yeah." That's true, but it does, and we need this that you carry, that Priestess Miriam carried, that is there, and I want to. I mean, I'm always, because I'm so dedicated to liberating trickster within us all, and then I'm often surprised to encounter people who are pretty hip and everything, and then go, oh, but they're not tricksters, they're grand dames, or they're whatever. They don't really want to play equal, and there's room for everybody, as you say, and
Yeah.
but Priestess Miriam was a trickster. I mean, she had great metis. That's the feminine intelligence power. Just but she was willing to play.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
She was willing to play.
My conversations with her, and sometimes she's much more advanced in everything than I am. So I had, all these long conversations with her, and I'd want to talk about logistics or something like that. She would want to laugh and make jokes.
Mm-hmm.
And it finally came to me. Yeah, laughter. Yeah, laugh. Make jokes. All this other stuff will handle. A lot of it will handle itself if you let it alone. If you don't prod it, all of the schedules and stuff like that. And how beautiful to be on the phone, to be in person with someone that really wanted to make jokes, really wanted to laugh.
But from an informed, spicy, ironic, sees everything humor. It's real humor.
Exactly.
Right.
Real humor. I think, somebody hit that too. It was right on a program right before yours, Ursula Nagy. She was talking about, the point where tragedy and humor meet. And I thought, oh my God, because I am writing people now, and I talk so much about joy that is bittersweet.
Yeah.
And that is where, with the joy, the sweetness is the humor. And it's an informed humor. It denies nothing. It looks at it though and goes like, yeah, okay, okay. Well, I'll
So
deal with it. Yeah.
and let's have Marie Laveau be here too. I love my
Oh,
compadre Sean Pedregodani, who says, "Let's see the long ago dead stepping forward to welcome the recently dead." I love that.
oh,
And
that's
so
beautiful.
when Marie
Thank you.
Laveau was born on the same day as Priestess Miriam, September 10th, so for Marie Laveau, her Mercury was 10 plus Virgo. And when we began this show, the point overhead, the midheaven, was 10 plus Virgo. And the image for that, I love this, is a woman gives each of her children a loaf of bread and a spike of barley and sends them out into the world. The limitless ways that one's
Oh,
inherited
thank you.
spiritual values can find expression.
Oh, thank
Fearless
you.
venturing into the world, dispelling evil and darkness with the light of one's inner goodness. Right? That's very her. Excuse me. It's very moving.
Oh, that's so
So it's
beautiful.
like,
Thank you for sharing that. Thank you.
yeah.
The
So we're
tears
spiraling it
and
out,
the joy.
and I love that the word queen was not originally a snooty hereditary term. It was a word for a woman in her initiated fullness. Right.
Oh,
So yeah,
thank
so
you.
we can go Priestess Queen Miriam. It was in the Eleusinian mysteries where everyone, basically ate psilocybe mushrooms and ergot and had a shared community vision in which they saw Persephone descending into the underworld, returning an initiated queen, returning a woman in her initiated fullness. And we go, oh, that's great. That's really great. So no, and then just you keep us because we have the wonderful Papa Legba, which is you drumming and Priestess Miriam singing. So we want to leave room for that. It's about 5 minutes. And so whenever you feel to, sort of guide us into Papa Legba and the opener of the gates, right? The guardian of the
Yes.
crossroads where people make important decisions.
Yes.
Do you know the wonderful book Flash of the Spirit? Do you know that book? It's
Yes.
anyway.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, it's really great. But he talks about Legba, who presides over the crossroads, which is where people make decisions that will forever affect their lives. And we're there
Yes.
right now, right?
We
This
are there,
powerful,
right?
we are there right now. And it's a time of dedicating to weaving a magical basket out of serpents and the
Yes.
power of divination and remembering the world of the Loa and the ancestors. And what did you say that was so great too, which is we are not separate from the ancestors. We are them. Is that what you said?
We are them. Yeah. Yeah. We are
Because
the ancestors.
who's also here is Chiron's a little planetoid, but it's the entire history of mentors.
Mm,
And so the entire history of it just entered Taurus. The entire history of Earth mentors is part of our restoring a lost condition of spirituality to the world. Yes, for the snake
yes.
and the Earth and the everything, and it's right next to the little asteroid Vesta, which is a flame glyph. And I just learned that our word focus means
Hmm.
hearth. It means flame. Isn't
Oh
that
my
great?
God. Okay.
We
Thank you.
gather our focus when we light the flame dedicated to community well-being, and then everything may proceed. It's very beautiful.
Oh,
So,
that last conjure that I did when the flame, my head just became a flame in the mirror, and I went like, "What?" Then next to me there was a flame. Thank you. Oh my God,
well,
and
yeah,
thank you for
that's
your.
where we gather our focus in the flame. And another
Yeah.
thing that because language is all alive, is another friend
Yeah.
just taught me that when we say "holy moly," which is a good thing to
Hmm.
holy moly, moly is the healing herb that Athena gives to Ulysses to keep him safe.
Oh.
Isn't that
Oh
great?
wow.
So when we say "holy
Beautiful.
moly," holy moly, everybody, right? Anyway, that's a good thing. So do you want to? I think we should play Papa Legba now, so we have room on this side and the other side. Anything you want to say to guide us into your drumming and Priestess Miriam
Very,
singing Papa Legba?
very quickly right
Yeah.
now, that Carolyn, you have shared your tears and your joy with me and with all of us, and we all grow larger in that. Marie Laveau. And Papa Legba, yeah, carrying the makout, that satchel, that bag, that to me includes infinite possibilities. It's like, call Papa. Yeah, Papa, come. Papa, I'll go, yeah, Papa, I'll go, yeah, Papa. Your children call your children. I'll go, yeah, Papa. Please come, Papa. Come to us. Come to us at this time when we need you. I'll go, Papa. I'll go. That's it.
And
Yeah.
and open the path for everyone, right?
Open the path for everyone.
To
Yeah.
dree our
Open
weird.
the
Yeah.
Yeah, because we are weird. We are weary. We are weary. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So here's our guest, Louis drumming and Priestess Miriam singing, and just go with it. This is Papa Legba. It's powerful, and I send it to my friend who's on the brink. You know, it opens the portals, it opens the path for everybody. So here's Priestess Miriam with Murray Laveau singing Papa Legba. Here we go. That was Priestess Miriam, who has gone backstage. Powerful New Orleans kin to Marie Laveau, born the same day, September 10th, and our wonderful guest, Louis Martini, who was drumming there and who was long accomplice. I love the word accomplice, because you were really an accomplice with Priestess Miriam, right?
Yes, thank you. Yes.
And then I love what Michael Ventura has a great essay called "The Voodoo Roots of Jazz and Rock and Roll." It's really fabulous. But he's writing about Marie Laveau, and just this phrase, he goes, Marie Laveau did not create cultural movements, but a woman of her substance understood what was at stake. She saw a role to be played and played it to the hilt, helping to coalesce a scattered and oppressed people into a moment of cultural ecstasy. And
Oh,
I
yes.
love that, because it's like we don't have to create cultural movements. They're coming up out of the earth. We want to offer ourselves to it, to put up our sails, to cooperate with this
Yes.
larger force. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. And the Dr. John too, Marie
Yeah.
Laveau, the folklore has it. I did a really extensive study of Dr. John because that's Loa of the drums, the original
Mm-hmm.
Dr. John, Dr.
Oh.
John Martiné,
Oh.
that uh, 1850, right around in there. Yeah, he passed on 1885, past 1885.
Wow.
And folklore has it that he drummed for Marie Laveau on Congo Square.
Oh.
Great combination, yeah. And the present Dr. John, that's where he got his name, that's Dr. John, yeah. So it's the doctor's John to me now, both of them.
Right. Well, there were two Marie Laveaus. So the one
Yeah,
the great voodoo queen, but then her daughter also Marie Laveau, and that's why you might have said there was many birthdays, but because Marie Laveau was born September 10th, 1801.
yeah,
Well, he could have been
yeah,
drumming for her. She would have only been 80 something. I mean, yeah, the 83.
yeah.
Sure, that's young. Right. And so, and Dr. John Martineau, yeah, we want, all of this richness, which you're keeping alive. And yeah, and what you were, in your splendid bio that we read at the beginning too, working with, or what does it say? But working with the power of the drum with
Yeah,
kids in trouble. I can't find the right paragraph, but
yeah.
so the drumming, right? Because Saturn is our authority. It's how we define leadership, and it's our rhythm. And so to
Yeah, okay.
insource our Saturn, it's the beat, it's the rhythm. You know, um, and when we have our rhythm, we're self-possessed.
That's it.
That's
Yeah, yeah. And
and then the rhythm. Yeah, you go.
oh, just the older practitioner, the Mardi Gras Indians, one of the chiefs, I heard him say the drum is the altar. The
Mm,
drum is the altar, yeah. And for me as a temple drummer, it's got a head, it's got a body, it's got a mouth. You feed the mouth, you clothe the body, and you anoint the head of the drum. Sacred object, something that moves between dimensions when you play. Because you don't play, I don't play the drum, my hands play. If I start thinking about what I'm doing, it just all falls apart. It's a union here, yeah, with the beat, like you say, with Saturn, with the follow that, yeah, yeah,
and
to
and
union
some
with it.
Yeah, and something I always use from the voodoo roots of jazz and rock and roll, which is our word cool, popularized by jazz musicians in the 40s, is a Yoruba word, kulu kulu, which meant completely responsible. So the cool
Oh
guy
my
took
God,
care of the community, and the cool musician, just as you're invoking, was just the musician, the instrument, and the divine, no overplaying, cool.
oh,
And in Yoruba, as in English, it means temperature. So now we bring in Obatala, the keeper of the cool head. And so it says, for
yeah,
all of us to imagine our head as cool and move all the heat in the head down to our heart where it belongs. So it's cool head,
yes,
warm heart, opposite of road rage,
yeah,
hot head, cold heart, cool head,
yeah,
warm heart,
hot heart,
to be agents
oh,
of cool.
cool.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
and we're
Dr.
on our way
Lee,
out, but I want to give you just the last minute for
okay,
any blessing, anything you want to say to spiral forth.
okay. Oh, may Marie come through. May Miriam come through.
Mm.
May they be in us. not just now, but every moment. May the heat of the head move down to the heart, greatness of heart, loving kindness. Yeah, that's my religion. Yeah, and that's such a beautiful religion. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Louis Martini. And thank you always, Kirsten Thomas, wonderful board op, magic person as well. That's really, really great. Okay, so let's stay in touch, Louis. This is really great.
Yes.
This is really great.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. More soon later. More soon later, everybody. Yeah. Wonderful.
Visionary civil rights lawyer and founder of the Equal Justice Initiative, Bryan Stevenson.
I continue to believe that the great evil of slavery in the United States wasn't the brutality and the violence, that was horrific, but it was the narrative we created to justify enslavement. The enduring evil of slavery was the narrative, because people who enslaved other people didn't think of themselves as immoral or indecent or unchristian. And how do you think of yourself as decent when you are pulling away a mother from her screaming children, knowing that mother will never see those children again? Well, you need a narrative. And so we created a false narrative in America where we said that black people are not as good as white people. Black people are less capable, less evolved, less human. And that narrative survived the Civil War. In fact, I often argue that the North won the Civil War, but the South won the narrative war.
Get learned only on KPFA.
KPFA is the media sponsor of Berkeley Pride, From Joy to Justice, a celebration of the power of the LGBTQIA+ BIMPOC community. This event is wheelchair accessible on Sunday, August 30th from 11 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. at MLK Jr. Civic Center Park in downtown Berkeley. Proceeds benefit the Pacific Center for Human Growth, a 501c3 organization. More information is at pacificcenter.org/Berkeley Pride.
KPFA paid staff is associated with the Communications Workers of America, CWA Local 9415.
This is 94.1 KPFA and 89.3 KPFB in Berkeley, 88.1 KFCF in Fresno, and online everywhere at kpfa.org. KPFA.